Talking of history makers, by the way, Anthony Gordon last night, his goal took him ahead of club legend Alan Shearer as Newcastle's leading goal scorer and assist maker in the Champions League. I mean, it has kind of been the happy place for him, hasn't it, throughout this season, because he's struggled in the league. You know, a lot was made recently about the fact that he hadn't scored a goal from open play in the league for over a year. But in the Champions League, he's absolutely flying.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? It seems like, again, it comes back to what he said sort of after the Benfica game, where he's like, you know, he really gets up for these sort of big games. I also think it's equally that he has a bit more space, maybe to operate in.
He definitely finds more space.
Yeah, he definitely finds more space. I think if we look at a lot of the teams who are playing against Newcastle now, are just sticking everyone behind the ball and letting us have it, unless it's one of the teams who you expect to come out and maybe have more possession than us, but in the games where we don't. And I think that does limit Gordon, because then has he necessarily got the technique, I don't know, to maybe clear those 1-2s and find that little pocket of space? His game's a lot about physicality and his raw pace and attacking the box, I suppose. So it's been really, look, I've been critical of Gordon, because I expect to see... I expect to see more. Well, I'm not critical of Harvey Barnes.
No,
but I am critical of Anthony
That's
Gordon.
Impossible.
Amazing.
So, because I expect to see more from what's supposed to be in England's international. We can't go over a year and not score a goal from open play. Equally, having a reliable penalty taker is extremely important. And he is a very reliable penalty taker. The only one he's missed, I think, is Everton, which obviously wasn't ideal, because obviously he was going to miss that at Goodison Park. But I'm happy to see him doing well in the Champions League. And if he scores again, he's our joint record all-time Champions League goal scorer.
That's amazing.
With Shearer on 7. Sure, I think it's more shows that maybe we haven't been very good in the Champions League, haven't we, realistically?
I mean, the Barnes thing you bring up there, he must be in a really interesting dilemma now, because he knows he could probably play for Scotland at the World Cup.
Yeah.
But he is in such good form. I mean, let's be honest, he's in better form than Saka at Arsenal at the moment. He is. He's better. Yeah. He's playing better. And I'm not saying he would get Saka's place in the starting lineup for England, but Tuchel must be starting to look at him and think, you know what?
Well, I think that's true, especially because his competition for that left wing is Anthony Gordon, who is literally in the same team as and is having to be forced.
Yeah, but he could go on to the, as I say, but even on the right, I think he's performed better than Saka in recent weeks. You don't know because you don't ever watch Arsenal?
No, I do watch Arsenal. I do watch Arsenal a lot, to be fair. And I do think Saka's not having his best season.
He's a good player. Don't get me wrong.
He's a world-class footballer.
And he will be going to the World Cup.
But if you were Tuchel, would you be taking Barnes or Gordon at the moment? Given that Gordon's been in and around those England camps.
I think that's unfair to say at the moment, because it's not about now. You do want to see how they finish through the season. You know, Gordon has proved in Champions League, which is, you would say, is the step up. Although,
but I don't think it doesn't feel like
that he is still performing in that regard. But I do think he's got a bit to prove. But Tuchel likes him. There's no doubt about it.
No, he does. I just think Tuchel would be daft to not look at Barnes. Really do think that you can't ignore a guy who scored 12 goals, all from open play as well, and all different types of goals: headers, right foot, left foot. And if England are looking in a game, it's tight or what have you, who's going to more likely get you a goal? I think it's Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon.
How seriously should Barnes think about this Scotland thing?
I think he should, but I actually think he should be thinking about England. I know he's 28, but I think at this point, I know Tuchel's probably got his team in mind, but you can't ignore someone playing this well. I just don't think you can.
Do you think he deserves the right to be able to ring Thomas Tuchel up and say, "Look, am I in your plans?" Because it will.
Yeah.
At the age he is,
in a Scottish accent.
No,
it's not the same as when you're 2021 and you think, I'll wait to see. Could he get an intermediary or whatever to say, "Look, am I in your plans? If I'm not,
It's probably getting to that kind of stage.
What you're saying about him being a left winger, yeah, I get it, but in the Champions League, we've raised the Benfica game and PSV. He's been on the right both times and been devastating.
That's the thing. He is doing well on the right. He is, and it's great.
It's happy. That would give England as well.
It's happy, but you can tell he's not as happy on the right. And in the games that we struggle in, where he's on the right, it feels like if you stick him over the left, you get a very different player. So. But it's difficult. Unfortunately, you've got two players.
Right, weirdly. Gordon has to be the left.
Gordon, because Howe said publicly that Gordon has said he doesn't like playing on the right. Yeah. And I have said this. I do not agree with that at all. I'm sorry. It's what's better for the team.
Yeah.
If better for the team is having Harvey Barnes on the left and Gordon on the right, then that is what you do. The team is not about Anthony Gordon's England spot, which is what he's... I'm not saying that's what he's thinking about, but it feels like that's part of it.
It's funny because Harvey Barnes has also said that he doesn't mind playing
I know.
right, and he actually prefers it sometimes because he gets more freedom, which doesn't quite make sense to me because I think he's better off the left.
Even last night, right? He starts on the right. His goal is from the right, but actually he gets it in the middle of the pitch and then goes to the left and scores.
So clinical, by the way.
He's so clinical.
Amazing.
Just you can almost just close your eyes when he gets into that position because you know he's going to
I
score.
think he's the best finisher at the club, but I'm not there's a question about that. And also, his best ever goal scoring season is 13 goals.
Yeah.
He's on 12.
12.
So we're looking at. I'll be surprised if he doesn't get 20. By the end of the season.
Well, that win as well means, gents, we have another date in Paris where we've had a bit of heartbreak before, of course, after that
Robbed.
ridiculous ridiculous handball against Tino
Yeah,
Livramento, which we've forgotten about. But
Not bitter at all.
It's a really interesting game. It's funny, isn't it? Because I feel that for most of this campaign, you've kind of looked at that game at the end and thought, well, I hope we're through by then.
Yeah.
But actually now, that game looks like a bit of an opportunity to maybe, if Newcastle manage to beat PSG, there's a massive chance that they make it into that top 8, which would be huge because it takes away that extra 2 games. But also, I mean, I think that there's so much to be said about the fact that they would be finishing in the top 8, despite the fact, by the way, that at the moment there's 5 English teams in there, which shows the strength of the Premier League.
There is a chance, I think, if we drew, they
True.
both go through.
Yes.
Is there going to be a bit of, we'll make sure we get a point? But there's a lot of teams on 13 points, isn't there? So that would be possibly a bit of a risk. But there is a chance if we draw, we'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, unbeaten against PSG, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a good opportunity, isn't it, as well, to talk about one of the most famous nights in the Howe era. Where would you say it ranks now? Because since then there have been some magical nights. You think of the League Cup semi-finals, for example, obviously the final. But where do you feel that win still ranks?
I love that. One of the reasons I love that win so much was that it was all pre-takeover players scored or Geordie, Dan Burn, because Dan Burn is a post-takeover player. I love the fact that our first Champions League goal back was by Miguel Almiron, considering he played such a massive role in us getting to it the season before when he couldn't stop scoring. And then you got Longstaff, Geordie boy, looked like his career was over under Steve Bruce. He scores again. He scores in the game. Cher scores that worldie. Dan Burn. We had Jamal Lascelles playing at centre back. They had Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, Donnarumma in goal, Marquinhos. It was the Galacticos PSG, and we absolutely battered them. Like, they didn't even deserve a goal, and they got one. I think it made it 3-1 at the point, and then Cher puts one in the top corner. It was absolutely an unbelievable night. It's got to be up there. Maybe third best one for Newcastle.
Where does it sit for you?
Sorry, what does that mean? Third best one win in
under the Howe era, yeah. So I'd go for the win over Arsenal, the second one, just to secure the place into the Carabao Cup final.
And the Carabao Cup final.
And obviously the Carabao Cup final is
But is it not slightly
top.
tarnished? And this is not being cheerless because I wasn't actually at the game. Is it not slightly tarnished by the fact we didn't actually go through? We played pretty miserable against Borussia Dortmund, for instance, and ultimately it didn't mean much.
I know what you mean.
But
it's still that statement, isn't it?
No,
I
agree,
I do know what you mean.
It was a bit
Shaun.
of a damp squib because I saw both the other games. Was it in
Dortmund?
was it Inter?
AC Milan.
AC
Milan.
Yeah. And we weren't good in those, and it's I feel slightly, as I say, tarnished.